All right. Hello, everyone in Empowered Soul Network. I am joined here with Sanna Kettunen. Welcome, Sanna. Sanna is an artist. She is a brand designer. She's an author, just an all-around creative. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your story, your journey, and all the light you have to share with us, Sanna. Welcome.
Hey Sandra, and thanks so much for having me.
Yes.
Lovely to be here.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more? Can you expand on that for us when you say artist, brand designer, what is it that you are passionate about helping people with?
Um, all in all, like with everything I do, it's about tuning in with their own hearts and making them feel like a sense of that curiosity to find the answers for themselves, but really to bridge them back to themselves. Um, Basically in everything I do. And it's all about love. That is like my core value is like love, and my own driving force, and what I believe that we are all, when we are like 100% aligned with our hearts, we're just like pure energy of love. And when it comes to my work, then if it's like brand design, it's all about uh just helping to get that own identity, like with the visuals, like that feels like this is me, and this is represents like what I do and feels right, like that it's super important. And that's like my core message, that just keep on like doing the work and finding your ways until you do, because you do not always know when it is like right for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said the word curiosity. So I'm curious. Tell me more. How do you what does that mean to you, that word curiosity, and how do you work with that when you're in your business, when you're being of service to people?
Um, I I kind of like bridge them to that, like, with questions. I think questions are so powerful for us, that there's so many that we don't even think of, because we're so immersed with 100 things around in our world. And then actually it's the most simplest questions I understood in my own journey, like that when we take a time for ourselves and reflect, we come to think that I have never even thought about this, like, for myself.
Mm.
And also to just have that sense of like courage to test things around, like that we might have thought that we are like stuck with something that we always repeatedly done, and it can be as simple as like a way we have gathered things in our environment, that they always been there, and we haven't kind of known that what is really our like ways. And then suddenly, we feel like super peaceful and free, because there's actually just one element of it that we really love, and all the other is like we don't even it's like that kind of stuff, like that it's very multifaceted. It's like a good question, but depending on who it is, it's very individual. And that's what I like to do that, to always focus on like what do I tune in with, and what do I feel like is the right question, and what is the kind of right thing that is needed in a specific project, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I get you. It's so interesting as a client. I've gone through various iterations of my website, for example, and all of that kind of stuff, right? You froze up a little bit. Did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah, you were saying about the website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so as
indeed.
I'm like relating to you as a client of somebody who be coming to you as a brand designer and going, how challenging it is sometimes as the client to be able to know, like, okay, I know what I'm all about and I know what I like, but I don't necessarily know how to get that into something that's visual for people. And so that's what I'm curious. If you were to say, like, if I was to come to you and say that, what would be like an example, or for people listening here, an example of a question that would help them dive into that, and for you as that person that's working with them, that would help you bridge that gap?
um well, I think that like my work is to be an instrument, like to create that visual come together. But I think one of the most important questions is like you obviously need to know like what is the like reason why, so you get like the core values of it, then like personal preference, like what is important specifically for you, color, color preference, the style. Do you like minimalistic? What are like, the fonts that you like? And you don't have to know like the fancy names. It's like basically if you have something to show that this is like I like this, then it's like you don't have to be scared of it, like kind of to know. I don't even know. I don't even know like all the terminology. I just know how to create. But I think one of the biggest questions is that how do you want, if it's a service, that how do you want the client to feel?
Mm,
Because I always think of that feeling like when I create that that is like a super important thing that feel like everything creates a sense of curiosity when we make people feel. Even if it's like, something that they don't like, but they get like something touches, they're like, ooh, like, But yeah, but how do you want to make them feel? And from that basis, with everything, it's then, you know, so much fun and interesting to create something that, would represent that.
yeah, that's a great one. I really enjoy that because it definitely it's that, well, you mentioned the core values too of just,
Mm.
okay, what are my core values and how do I want the people that are coming to be a part of whatever I'm being of service with, how do I want them to feel? Those are great. Those are great little tips for people as they're listening to this. So, okay, I'm going to shift over artist. You're an artist. What type of art do you enjoy making the most?
Good question. And I am going to, you know what? I am so multifaceted in my ways of creating. And I really use the world around me as like an inspiration. I never know where it comes from. I love to take photography or video like from the nature. So nature is the huge inspiration. But I also love to create quite minimalistic visuals where I can use, and I use like different elements, and I think that's super much fun. So I can use a ready-made visual and just take one piece of it and then mix it up maybe with a surrounding from the nature that I have had photographer. And so it's like a blend in visual, but I never know really where things come from, other than I just get like a feeling that I have to do. Or same with writing. If I write something short, it's exactly the same thing. I can wake up with just a sentence of like, I have to write this down. I don't know why. And then it's got something else down. And then I just like, do something with it. But everything inspires me. Music, I hear people, I see people interacting. I don't never know where it comes from, and I just allow myself to create. It's really much fun.
That's beautiful. Is that kind of how you were as a child? Have you always been that just uber creative, or how did that translate when you were a child? What was that like?
Yeah, you know what? I was like, I had a super easy time in like creating, making play of anything. And I think that that continued. Like I didn't lose that in that way, that I could always come up with something and mold something to something else. I used to work with children, so it was super easy for me to create play from anything to them or help them initiate like something. If they're like, we have nothing to do, I'm like, yeah, you do this, then you can do that, you can do this, and then they're like, oh yeah, like stuff like that. But it was always oriented to something goal directed to someone else. So I was always like kind of not believing in my own creativity to just go anywhere and do my own stuff, and that's what came back. And I don't even know where I'm going with it at the moment. It's like so new in that way, but yeah, yeah, it's always been there, but now stronger than ever, I would say, just because I got myself like back together, like in my own journey. Thanks so much for the question. I loved it.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for sharing all that you did. Number one, you inspired me to remember just about children and how it like it's and even for us, right? There's one little nugget of something that someone says or does and that inspires us and then we go from there. I'm just remembering my little 7-year-old. I made my Halloween costume this year, which I am not a crafty person. So this was a big feat for me.
Oh,
And so there was all this red fabric left, and that was all she needed. This kid just took off, and so all of a sudden she's making this and that and this and that. And so that's what you just reminded and inspired how easy it is to inspire others.
yeah, yeah. And that's lovely. And that is so true that children are just like that. That if we think how much is in our world like ready-made and all this like bells and whistles and everything, and it's like the newest model. I worked once in a unit with small like young children, and their favorite thing to play with was a cardboard box. That was their favorite thing. And they made it. I observed it, and they were like shifting, and it was like a car, a car like slide, and then there was like playing like some I don't know what they were like all kinds of like story in it, or like someone was hiding in it, and they loved it. That was like their favorite thing of all the toys they could have chosen from. So.
The power of that childlike imagination, right? And creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus also that it doesn't have to be, you know, crazy expensive, like, all these newest things, that it's a matter of like just being there present, and helping initiating that, like, that you can do this and you can do that, and what else can you do? And then they, come up with anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sana, do you mind telling me you said you talked about how at a certain point you started to kind of lean into the fact that like, oh, I can do this for myself and be, I don't know how you worded it, but there it sounded like there was this moment for you where you started to reclaim a bit your own value and worth in what you produce. Did I get that right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was gradual. It wasn't like in that way. I think everything probably happens like gradually in
Yeah.
retrospect. It takes a long time, but I went through a time like a traumatic time that usually puts us on the journey. I uh, broke free from an abusive relationship, and that took me to the healing journey of like really getting to know myself. Properly. I didn't even know there was someone to get to know too. That's how lost I was. But after years of just like opening up more, express. I understood that that was the key thing, was to express, express, express.
Mm.
First, it was just to cry out, basically, and then just like get the help from anywhere. But then it shifted kind of. Shape in that way that I took the ownership of it, that hey, I cannot go to everywhere and scream for help, no matter in what situation I am, and how much I really would like to have different kind of support. Uh, but I actually wanted to. There was something in me that was just waking me up in the middle of the night, calling me really um, to express myself in creative ways. I had to kind of get it for myself without having to go and talk somewhere to, a therapist or like, some other healer. Uh, I started writing just to myself. And then I started like doing more creatives and stuff. And then came that I have to do something with this. I get all these insights that this is what life is all about, that we're connecting back to our hearts. And it shouldn't be like this, that we drift away from ourselves so badly, that the most difficult thing for us is to get back to ourselves, to our own true nature. That is like really whack. And I was just like, I have to do something with it. It's so simple. It's so simple. So then I started to just get back on social media after I had a year break, which was really good. But then I got back on it with the first time in my life with actually a healthy reason.
Mm,
And I wanted to connect with people because I had been a lot alone for many different reasons, not jumping in them now, but uh, the real core reason was to share all
mm,
the insights I had come to know and just wanted to help people to like, that it's all about self-love. You have
mm.
to know who you are and just, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, what a journey, huh?
Yeah, it still is.
Still is a never-ending journey, right?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you so this I feel like it's a good segue that the your Empowered Soul Network, right, is where we're broadcasting to.
Yeah.
How has that journey, like what is it about being an empowered soul? What is that to you? And how, if you feel like, you know how people say life happens for you, not to you. I don't know how you relate to that or not. Some people is like, ah, that's crap. I'm curious, like how you relate to that and if that ties into that idea of being an empowered soul.
Absolutely. I do. I think that once we realize, like, that it's all within us, then we understand that, we are exactly like that, empowered souls. And there's like infinite like possibilities that what you can do. Like, if you switch it around and say that like the limited beliefs and just put them out there and somebody would say, yeah, that's true, it's there is not more, it makes no sense. I always like switch it around in that way, and then if I would like say that, oh yeah, it ends here, you are not evolving anymore, you have evolved now and you cannot evolve any more than that. I was like, no, that makes no sense. What would be the point? There would be no whole nothing. I switch it around like this in my mind. And I believe 100% that life happens for us. And that everything that when we change our like thinking of like that, the victim mindset or that, oh, why is this happening? That when we understand that every single thing in our life has been building us up like to this point, everything's been contributing to our growth, and we're all the time evolving and growing, learning. And if we really think of it and snap out of whatever is taking place that is not comfortable in our life or sad or whatever, there is so much to be grateful for. And there's so much beauty in the midst of whatever is happening in the world that is not seen, or for it's like we don't remember it. And when we do take the time, then there's much more than the darkness, like when you list it down, like really. And yeah, I think that it is exactly that. It's like the best, greatest gift ever to come to understand it for oneself, that it is all within you, and that like you are all the time evolving, like all the time, constantly. And I do believe that we are like eternal souls, so that you know that it matters. Every single thing, matters. Of like it's all energy, and yeah, basically. I don't know if I at all answer. I probably went a little bit everywhere.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I feel like these questions are just to inspire what you're meant to share, which I got a lot out of just then, so I appreciate that. Yeah. Um, I saw as you were talking, I saw you like at the end of this life as this like wise, just graceful sage of a woman. And I'm I'm curious, what would that woman say to Sanna right now?
Oh, do you mean like my future self?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Um, is that what you meant?
That's well, I mean, it could be the just the self that is deep within you right now too. So, but yeah, that was the question. Your future self, that woman that's ready to transition into wherever she goes, what after experiencing so much more life, what would she say to you right now? What would be that piece of advice that you would give yourself?
You mean moving forwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say just trust.
Mm.
Trust. I would say trust and the best is yet to come.
Ooh, I love that. The best is yet to come. That's cool. What is that about trust for you? Like when you say trust, what does that mean to you? Trust.
It it means like ultimately it's always like trusting myself. But it's like, trust life, trust like everything to naturally unfold, trust the process, trust we can call it anything. It's
Mhm.
also trusting others. They will figure it out. It's just like, if you're like an empath and you're worried about like others that you love, like, and it's like trust, they need that. I love trust because it is like it's so multifaceted, but ultimately it is like within ourselves. We trust ourselves, we basically trust them outside too, like, So but I think that that is one thing that have to often remind, especially when transitioning, especially when in the unknown, especially when you're trying something completely new that you haven't done, or that you're in the crossroads and or have choices and you don't know what am I supposed to choose. I choose this one, trust.
Yeah. Yep. I love that. I love that you did, like you said, it's so multi-layered, but I love that
Yeah.
you started with trust myself because if I can trust myself, then everything else just falls into place. I'm not second guessing what's in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is so important. I think that it's something that everyone should really work on because I know that the old me used to always trust, and I wanted actually to have the prompting from everyone that give me the answer. Is this okay? Am I good enough? Like, not even asking. I was like scanning with my eyes that, oh my God, they're looking like that I might, I must have done something wrong. I was like super good in like just tuning in with like energies and then thinking it was all always me. I did something wrong.
Yep.
But then when you change it to yourself, like that is what you ultimately want. That's how you feel safe too,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's so many people could relate to that in some level or another. I know I certainly can. So I appreciate you kind of illuminating that for us and sharing a bit of your journey about all of that.
What's your thoughts about trust? Is that
Oh
something
yeah.
that you have like had uh, for yourself or
Oh,
like?
sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just the onion layers, right? There's always another level that I can step into and lean into that more and more and more. And so just making that part of the fun journey is, I feel like and that's also what I hear you sharing as well, because it's just it's just part of the game and part of the process. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Fun is so important. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah. So is there anything with maybe with that in mind, is there anything else as we wrap up that you just are called to share with the people that are watching us right now?
Um, I would just like to say thank you for taking time
Oh yeah.
to watch. And then I would just say that you are the most amazing person in your world, and that is the most important thing for you to like tune in with and believe in if you don't already like understand that it is so because it is like the most beautiful thing, and that's where it is like everything everything will start to make more sense and click once you build that loving, healthy relationship with yourself. And each one of us has it. I know that because I never thought it was possible to even establish that. And after that connection, then everything little by little starts to like make sense. And you will always get through anything in life with having that uh, feeling of just like peace, like you know that, okay, I'm out of touch with myself, so I have to do the work and get back. But you cannot lose it once you like get there because you just know that, oh, I never felt like this, like, you know, and then you do the work all the time to just take as well as you can care of it and get back to it when you are in like disconnect with yourself. So that's what I would say, and if
Beautiful.
it makes sense.
It speaks to my soul, Sanna. Thank you so much. How can people connect with you, Sanna, if they want to reach out?
On social media,
Mhm.
on Facebook, can send me a message on Messenger or then on Instagram. Uh, my handle is you got this. That's Anna, and then I'm also on LinkedIn, and I have to get back on YouTube. I also have a YouTube channel, but I haven't been active in a very long time. But yeah,
We'll
can
make
follow
sure
me.
yeah, so that there's an infinite number of ways, right? Which is amazing in this day and age, how easily we can all connect with each other.
Yeah, and you know what? This I'm going to actually say this that I just recently looked at a video of somebody who was a marketer, I don't remember who it was, who said, just name one. People get confused.
Oh,
So I'm just gonna say that you can just send me a message. You can, you know, send me a message on Facebook if you want to connect. Because this is on Facebook anyway, so that's it. And then, you know, you can figure out the other ways if you want to. I don't want to cause overwhelm. That's it.
that's a good idea. So, and we'll make sure that we tag you in this video, and you can comment with your links if people want to see more. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. Sana, thank you so much for being here and sharing your heart with us. I appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate you asking me to be a guest. So it's been a lot of fun, and I think you're amazing. And yeah, love your energy.
Thank you. What you see in me, you have in you.
Yeah, I heard that, and I have felt that too.
Ah, right? All
Yeah,
right.
wise words.
Thank you so much. We'll see you all soon. Everybody in Empowered Soul Network, have an amazingly beautiful rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you're at in the world. Have a wonderful one. Thank you again, Sana.